Welcome back to another episode of Branding Banter, your promotional podcast, where you can get all that nerdy news. My name is Jeff Franklin, National Accounts Manager with Headwear USA.
And I'm Megan Erber. I'm Director of Sales at Proforma.
And Stephen McFadden at TSC.
I'm pretty sure that's the first time I've ever heard her say Megan Erber.
Yeah. Is this
I said it.
for you?
It felt weird.
It did sound weird coming off my tongue. That's probably why. Meg Erber, not Megan.
Are you drinking?
It's not even
What is
Erber. You're
happening
saying
here?
your last name right. You're screwing up the entire name, Meg. It's Meg Erber. Okay.
Erber.
Established already.
Can I just say? Oh, go ahead. No, you go.
You go first. No, how have you guys been? It's been crazy this week. How have you guys been?
Yeah, things have been crazy for you.
I mean, just a little bit.
Well, listen, not to allude to anything, but here in about a minute, we're going to start talking about some pretty big news. You know, Branding Banter is bringing on an entire whole new sea. Okay, it's not just companies, case studies, and creators anymore. We're also going to talk about change today, boys and girls. Change, everybody's favorite word. Look, if you haven't been paying attention, there's been a few press releases, and we're going to talk about Meg Erber's big change and Steven's recent change as well. We haven't really had a chance to talk about any of it. So coming up here after our ad read from our good friends over at ASI, look, talk about ASI Fort Worth. It's coming up. It's like next week, right?
I think so.
Calling all promotional product professionals, it's time to saddle up and head on over to ASI Show in Fort Worth. It's the hottest event in the Midwest. Get ready for an unforgettable experience packed with opportunities to boost your business this year. They've moved the show later in the year, making it the perfect opportunity to exceed in your Q2 and Q3 goals. Picture this, a full day of marketing and sales sessions featuring two keynote speakers guaranteed to captivate and inspire you. Feel free to be captivated and inspired. Plus, don't miss the highly anticipated panel discussions with three members of the Cohn family, Norman, Matthew, and Stephanie. And that's not all. With more than 400 booths in Fort Worth, the show floor will be buzzing with innovation and opportunity. But wait, there's more. All right. After a day of networking and learning, kick back and relax at the ASI Show Gala right at the River Ranch Stockyards. Grab your cowboy hat and get ready to have some serious fun. Time's running out to join them at ASI Fort Worth. So head on over to asishow.com and register today. Why don't we get into it? Do we want to start with Meg today with the big news, since it's the most recent news?
I mean,
or do we want to go chronologically?
It doesn't matter.
Stephen is so confused right now.
Let's go with me first, because I think
we're gonna go with
kick off
Meg.
Meg. All right, Meg, you're wearing a RID shirt today. RID's a nice color, but there's a logo on that shirt that is not S&S.
I know, it's so weird, right? It's a good weird, but and they all fit. I got all these shirts in the mail the other day. I was like, oh, that's my color. I think I'll wear it.
Did the shirt come from S&S though, or is it another supplier?
So that's a great question. There was actually 4 or 5 shirts in there, and they all came from different suppliers. So I'm going to spread the love equally. But this one is not. I'm not sure which one it is, but it was red, and red's my favorite color. So that's what we went with today.
Nice.
But yeah.
Well, amazing headshot in the news that broke just a few days ago, a couple days. It's what, 2-3 days ago now?
3 days ago now. Yeah, today's Thursday. Yeah. Well, as
today
of Friday,
Thursday. It is Leap Day. Happy Leap Day, by the way, guys.
It is.
It's
Oh,
Leap
yeah.
Day.
Well, I guess when they're seeing this, happy 1st of March.
Yeah, happy 1st of March, but also Leap Day. All right, Meg, and I guess in wanting to keep things moving, obviously the news came out. I know last episode you did tell us that you're leaving S&S, but you didn't tell us quite where you were going yet. And the news broke on Tuesday, and it seems like socials and everybody just kind of blew up with the news. So why don't you fill us in, like what happened?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, start with S&S, because you were there for so long.
I know. Right? So it was literally, I was there for 8 years exactly. It was funny. Mark Ketchum called me the other day, and he was like, "Man, I still remember the day that I called you up." Tony Lametti was like, "You got to call Meg Erber," and he did, and then the rest is history. But so I've been there for 8 years. I absolutely loved all the people there. I loved all of my customers. My colleagues became friends. My customers became friends, and it was such a rewarding experience. Everything I learned, the inspiration that I gained, just it permeated the industry. So I'm super excited to have left there on great terms. I'm now going to be one of their customers. and I've landed over at Proforma, which I am just so excited to be part of their already dynamic team.
And for anybody that didn't see the news release, what's the official title?
Yes.
What are we doing at Proforma, Meg Erber?
I am the new director of sales over at Proforma. So that is one of the main reasons why I did leave SNS Activewear. I really was looking to grow and spread my wings and have a bigger ripple effect in this industry, just because of all the passion I have. And I was kind of pigeonholed into this small territory, and I just want to do big things. And now I have the opportunity to, and I can't tell you, I haven't been able to stop smiling. And I know I wrote that on a lot of posts because I didn't even know what else to say at that point, because the responses were so overwhelmingly positive. I was shocked by all of it. And I mean, yeah, I guess I expected to hear like congratulations here and there, but oh my gosh, I was, I don't know, I was terrified of how big it could get, I guess, because all that attention makes me a little nervous, but oh my gosh, I just couldn't stop smiling for the last couple of days. So thank you guys for suggesting we talk about it, because I thought, I can now get to talk about my feelings about it, I guess. But,
Well, I mean, it was Steven's brilliant idea to add the fourth C after all. I mean, we were trying to figure out how we were going to fit this in, but, I mean, hey, why not just adapt and change and be flexible and just add a fourth C? And it makes sense because, good golly, how much mergers and acquisitions and movement and stuff like that is there, especially this time of the year every year. But, it usually doesn't hit quite so close to home. And especially not with two of the three hosts of the show. So
I know it's been a really crazy first quarter for all of us, really. And I think I didn't take this decision lightly by any means. It was 8 years of my life. It was my family. It was my home. But I really felt like it was a culmination of my career. That's just always been about pushing boundaries, embracing challenges, and making a tangible difference in this industry. You guys know that. I'm super passionate about it. And I really felt like, for me, serving in the Navy, and then being kind of a recognized leader-ish, I'd like to say that, in the promotional space, it's really just been guided by a few core principles: innovation, community, and empowerment. And I felt like Proforma really embodied all of those three, and it just resonated deeply with my personal and professional ethos. So that's why I chose Proforma. It wasn't my only, I was really making sure I asked all the right questions. I was doing the interviewing just as much as they were interviewing me. I needed to make sure that this was right for me, right for my family. And it was, and it's going to be magical. I really can't wait. I'm already joining, just like I said, a dynamic team. We got Charity Gibson over there as CMO.
I was going to say there. I think there was part of the newsletter that went out was just some of the big acquisitions that Proforma's made to the team there, and Charity was certainly one of them as the chief technology officer and
marketing.
Yeah, there you go. Sorry. Look, that's why I'm here, to mess up and for other people to correct me. So all good. So who else, Meg? Who else is on the team, and why else did you make that change? And what does it mean for Meg Erber moving forward?
Well, I don't know if you know these two people, but I've met them, and they are rock stars, and they're more behind the scenes. So you have Brian DeBozy and Brian Carruthers, and they are both brilliant men, and they are now on the technology side of it. So I know that Vera is just it's her baby, the technology. So I think you'll see a lot more of that coming, and I'm really excited about that as well. But like I said, there was leveraging the technology for growth. There's all kinds of stuff in that. Then strengthening our community. I really feel like everything that I have done in the past has led me to this. So being able to kind of rally the troops, get to share all the things that I'm passionate about and make them passionate about it as well. We have so many success stories that we haven't talked about. And I feel like it's not to sit and brag about them, but to also inspire people and that's why we do this podcast, right? We're talking about case studies here all the time. And it's because sometimes you go, okay, I can sell a pen, but like, what's the story behind that pen? A pen's a bad example because nobody, millions of pens, but that t-shirt or that hat or that program or that gift box, there's a story behind it. And I think it's our job to tell those stories. And the other thing is the empowerment aspect of it. I think empowering through education, and I have to give credit where credit is due. And I say this all the time, but one of the biggest pieces of knowledge, I think, that advice that I've received since I've been doing this was from Joanne Lance. And she said at a women's leadership conference to invest in yourself, invest in yourself, invest in yourself, invest in yourself. I don't know why we're blinking.
Even wants to know why the timer went away, and it's because Megan's gone over her 7 minutes. So
we're okay. Keep it rolling. We sucked into it a little bit.
I know.
All right, fine. So, Stephen, question for
hold on. I just want to empower through educating. That's it. Because for a long time, I stepped out of that almost salesy role, and I really became an educator. And so that's what I want to do: empower through educating. I think that's the career move, and that's part of my career trajectory. And that is all I wanted to say.
Well, I'm gonna steal like 40 more seconds of my time to ask you one more question, and I can condense mine. So, but lots of buying groups out there, lots of options. I'm sure you had probably a lot of choices and a lot of places you could go and do. So, I know that you mentioned some of those things, but like, how did you consult with anybody? Was it helpful that they had brought on some friends into the organization? Like, what kind of was like, what helped you decide like that was the right place to call home?
So that's a great question. There was a lot of factors. Like I said, I asked 1,000 questions, right? I wanted to find out, make sure their goals aligned with mine, that their culture aligned with where I wanted to be, a place that I wanted to call home. It needed to all align. And it did. And the fact that Charity was there, that makes it easier. I've known her for, the better part of the last 12, 15 years. Vera, I'm just beyond impressed by everything that she embodies. She is just a true powerhouse, and I'm so blessed to be able to work right directly under her. So that was really most of it. Good people, the technology, the ability to have the opportunity to spread my wings, and really they're giving me the platform. So I'm really glad to be part of this team. So hopefully I knocked that out in 40 seconds, probably a little bit more.
You did.
Definitely longer than that, but it's all good. Stephen, so how does Meg's story relate or differ from the whole mergers and acquisitions side of things? Because clearly Perfect Promotions and more of Apex, North Carolina is no more. You guys are now were bought out by TSC, who's still a Facilis member, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. Yeah.
But so how does that happen? Like why would
So, obviously there's some similarities with Meg's story and mine, which, I can speak to, which, I have a new job, like at a new company, right? So everything that I was used to doing over the last 15 years, I am no longer doing. So it's a lot, right? It's, everything that I've done is now, I'm not allowed to do. Like, don't do that anymore, Stephen. Like, we want you to do more stuff, on the business rather than in the business, right? And that's a completely different mindset. But M&A is we have talked about it before on podcasts and talked to other people with that. You mentioned M&A to a lot of folks, and there are horror stories that just pop up all over the place. Like, I lost my friends, I lost coworkers, this changed, that changed. And, absolutely that was in the back of my head. Right. But there were a lot of factors. We were growing pretty fast for so many years, even through COVID, where we hit a bump, but we recovered super fast. And we were reaching that point where like the next step is getting more structure and more operational, like by nature, in order to allow for that growth. Otherwise we would just be throwing overhead for the same amount of sales, and it would just kind of stay flat when it comes from a profit perspective. The other thing to consider too is when looking at M&A, I was thinking about what would give our employees opportunities that we couldn't provide them, being a smaller organization as opposed to becoming a larger organization as a whole, that a bigger group, if they were managing us, could give them, whether it be benefits or opportunities or career paths or things that we don't have as a smaller organization where people do a lot of everything. So all that to be said, this was a fast acquisition by most measurables, but it wasn't a quick one, if that makes sense. Like, once we decided to go down this route, we were fast at executing it, but the decision to get there was not done overnight. There was a lot of thought, a lot of making sure that, I had a priority list, which was that my family would be taken care of, our people would be taken care of, and then I would have a spot at a larger organization to help build into the future. And, there was a question asked, like, what about your customers? I'm like, love my customers, but if my people are good, our customers are okay. Like, I have to make sure like they've got a home and they've got a place. And when we met the folks at TSC, yep, Meg.
I just want to say that's a true sign of good leadership right there, because you're worried about your people to make sure that they're happy, and that that if your people are happy, your customers are going to be happy. That is all. Carry on.
Thank you, Meg. And, so at meeting the folks at TSC, which they're an organization that's about 4 times our size, maybe close to 4.5 times our size. And we were strong in a lot of areas. They were weak, and vice versa. They are super strong operationally, structurally. They had facilities and they had a lot of things that we did not have. And there was a mutual respect for one another and what we could bring to the table. And it just made a whole lot of sense. And honestly, the fact that it was a group of good people that matched up with our good people made it so much easier. And I'm running out of time now, but I will say this: for anyone curious about M&A, I'm happy to be a resource to talk to you about anything. But I would say every company, regardless of if you sell or not, should go through the exercise as if you're going to sell your business at least once. We doing that, not knowing if we were actually going to sell, made me look at our company from a perspective that I had not done ever, by getting ourselves like, pretend you're going to sell your company and try to pull that together. You have to know all of your financials, all of your stickiness of your customers, how long you've had people, lifetime value of customers, your type of people, your benefits, your offerings, like everything you are as one package deal. But you can then figure out like what your strengths and weaknesses are just by putting it all together for yourself. So highly recommend doing that.
As far as stickiness of the customers, I think it's a very good thing to consider. But that's the one cool thing I think about our industry, is that the stickiness of the customers is all, for the most part, about relationships. So the company that you work for really doesn't matter. And I've actually had people come to me that were new in the industry that, basically, went to go, that they own their own distributorship, but then they went to go work for a larger distributor in the area because they thought that, the name or the clout of a larger distributor was going to carry some weight with their customers. And they found out pretty quickly that people don't give a crap what the name of your company is or who you work for. Just the fact that you take care of them, and that you provide a really good service at a good rate. So I think that's really cool, Stephen. There are, I'm sure, some people that maybe that matters for, but.
And if it matters, I'm no longer doing sales, because I know we talked about the new job piece, but I'm actually now director of vision and new business. So I love it. It's basically trying to identify like what, how, and what we are, making sure there's consistent messaging across the board, but then working with the teams and educating them on how we used to go to market and some of where the strengths and weaknesses are from that point of view. And honestly, loving it. It's a lot, but I'm like, it's amazing how much work I've been able to get done on things for a company when I'm not working in the company. And I will say one thing about the empowerment piece. One of the things I had asked the company, and you guys will appreciate this, was before as I'm transitioning, I'm like, I'd really like a hard stop where then I can like dive into what my new role will be. And so I did a deep dive getaway for like 24 hours, and I just wrote up like everything. I had like the school board paper, like the 2 foot by 3 foot stuff, and a tiny home in the middle of the woods, literally. And came away with like 9 or 10 sheets just full of like graphics and data and like all this stuff. So it was super cool. It was a cool experience. And I'm excited to now do something with it. So,
well, it sounds like it's your dream job, Stephen. I know that this new role for me is my absolute dream job. Being able to do something that you love, it makes it seem like you're not there at work every day. I know that sounds super cliche and corny, but like I'm really excited to be able to align my strengths and my passions to a job that's going to, excel on both sides. It's a win-win. So I think that the same for you at TSC. And I think that's, is it working?
Other way. There you go. Oh, so
It's
cute. You guys. All right. Well, Meg, since your newsletter did just come out and you did a social media post and all that, I'm actually going to defer the comment section or community section to you. What kind of things did you see coming through when you posted that you want to sort of give homage to or pay,
You're crazy.
Yeah.
So I will say that I think in any new role, when you're stepping into like a leadership role and even into a new role in general, there is a little bit of imposter syndrome that goes through you, right? You're like, can I do this? Am I meant for this? Is this my role? Am I meant for this? But some of the private messages that I received from people, I'm telling you, they were just like, wow, like people would say, you know what, I am here because of you. The reason that I am even still in this business is that you took me under your wing, you mentored me, you showed me the ropes. And it wasn't just one person that said that. And they were like, you did that out of the kindness of your heart, because I wasn't making anything off of that, And so I will say that went so far with me, and it really helped me kind of get over that and like reassured that I'm doing the right thing. So gosh, I know that we can talk about analytics for a second.
Whether you had whether this had anything to do with your decision to leave SNS or not, I will say that I was always kind of shocked that they didn't promote you well above and beyond where you ended up at SNS for the time that you were there and the growth that you had. And I will say that they're absolutely crazy for letting you go, but for you, I think it's wonderful because you are in a position of that you want to be in. So. Why don't you talk just real quick? I know we're out of time, but the analytics for your post, just to go over that real quick, and then we'll hit out.
So how fun, right? Like social media is so fun to like just get the analytics and we can see what's going on and everything. So I put something on LinkedIn. Just on my post alone, there was over 9,800.
Did you just say Post Malone?
Post Malone, yes.
All right, good.
Post impressions alone, 9,080. 690 profile views, 69 searches. And then Instagram, 944 plays on that reel. It reached 811 accounts and 240 interactions. And Facebook had a mind of its own. I honestly couldn't even tell you where to start. But I mean, it was just incredible. And I feel like if you don't know in the industry, you do now. You've been inundated, your posts, your social posts, your emails, it's out there. So thank you, everybody, for the support. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody on a different side of this industry and where that takes us and seeing how we can grow together.
I'm just looking forward to harassing you as a supplier now,
That's interesting. My analytics, I had 11 people see it. 8 of them were family. No, I'm just kidding.
You gotta get your power color, Steven. We gotta get you a power color.
I'm messing with you. No, it's crazy. I've seen something like, when Kevin Mullaney switched jobs and you switch jobs, like those posts go nuts.
Yeah.
There's a big step. So what's this thing in Texas?
Well, it's a wonderful trade show. It's actually the best or the hottest event in the Midwest, Stephen. It's called ASI Fort Worth. The ASI show in Fort Worth. So look, calling all promotional product professionals, it's time to saddle up and head on over to ASI show in Fort Worth, the hottest event in the Midwest. Get ready for an unforgettable experience packed with opportunity to boost your business. And look, this year they've moved the show later in the year. Normally this is like right at the beginning of February or something. So definitely a better time, I think, of the year, but it makes it perfect, the perfect opportunity to exceed in Q2 and Q3 for your goals. And picture this, you got a full day of marketing and sales sessions featuring 2 keynote speakers guaranteed to captivate and inspire you. Plus, don't miss the highly anticipated panel discussion with 3 members of the Cohen family, Norman, Matthew, and Stephanie. And that's not all. Look, with over 400 booths at Fort Worth, the show floor is going to be buzzing with innovation and opportunity. But wait, there's more. After a whole day of networking and learning, you can kick back and relax at the ASI Show Gala right at the River Ranch Stockyards. Grab your cowboy hat and get ready to have some serious fun. Time's running out to join us at the ASI Show in Fort Worth. Head over to ASIShow.com to register today, and just a special thank you to ASI for your continued sponsorship. And I hope you guys have a great show at Fort Worth. And until next time, we'll be seeing you.